Like, what do you
I think it's
rematch?
dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 83.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8-2.
Yeah.
There good. You're not in bad shape.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach are officially set for a rematch on August 18th. The two will go head-to-head once again, but this time, Davis, known as Tank, is making one thing crystal clear: he's out for the win. The pressure around this fight is intense. It's not just about titles or bragging rights, there's much more on the line. What really has fans buzzing is how Davis has been acting since their first fight back on March 1st. That bout ended in a majority draw, a result that shook Tank's image as an unbeatable force in the ring. Now, with both fighters coming back hungry, the stage is set for a high-stakes showdown that could redefine both of their careers.
Was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say.
The first fight was expected to be business as usual for Davis, another dominant win, another opponent overwhelmed. But Lamont Roach had other plans. He didn't just survive, he matched Davis punch for punch, took his best shots, and revealed flaws that had been hidden behind Davis's streak of easy knockouts. This isn't just talk. Richardson Hitchens, a close friend and training partner of Davis, recently shared an honest take on where Tank's head is at going into the rematch. "I tell Tank privately, if he doesn't stay focused, things could go bad," Hitchens said in a recent interview. But Tank's a real fighter. He hates losing, and I think that first fight really shook him. It made him realize that anything can happen if he's not locked in.
A game, it could go left for him.
I mean, yeah, I'll tell Tank that, you know, behind closed doors, if he don't focus up, it can go left for him. But Tank is a true competitor. Tank is a guy that he's scared to lose. So I think that
kind of honesty from someone inside Davis's inner circle is rare, and it says a lot. It suggests that the confident image Davis shows the public might not reflect what's really going on behind the scenes. Hitchens also mentioned that Davis has been dialing things back lately, staying off social media, avoiding distractions, and focusing fully on his training. That's exactly what you'd expect from a fighter who knows he came dangerously close to a major slip-up.
Now, he's trying to please the fans possibly and take this fight versus Lamont Roach in a rematch. You know, is it even worth it to please the fans who want to love you one minute, hate you the next? They're going to love him this minute, they're going to hate him the next minute. Oh, I don't like him. He can fight Lamont Roach, and they're going to say, well, he's supposed to knock Lamont out if he does win, you know? Or if he loses to Lamont, they're going to say, oh, we knew Lamont was better. It's just always is a never-ending story in regards to boxing. You can't just please the people.
But the big question is, will that be enough? Even Hitchens seems unsure. "I honestly think those two are evenly matched," he said. "They've got history, they know each other well. So I don't expect a huge difference in the rematch. But with Tank's power, anything can still happen. It's not exactly a vote of full confidence, and it brings up a key concern. Has Tank reached a point where raw power isn't enough to hide the cracks in his game?"
That was saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, "I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night." And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
And if all that wasn't enough to shake Davis, Eddie Hearn's latest comments might be. The Matchroom boxing boss recently hinted that Davis could be eyeing a way out of the Roach rematch altogether. In a surprising interview, Hearn claimed that Davis might be gearing up to fight social media star Jake Paul in November, completely shifting focus away from Roach. "He's fighting Jake Paul, isn't he?" Hearn said, dropping a headline-making bomb.
Me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
"I don't know if he's still going to fight Lamont Roach again," Hearn continued. "What I do know is he's fighting Jake Paul in November, and maybe Shakur Stevenson after that. For a fighter like Davis, talk like this can be risky." Chasing a big payday is one thing, but stepping into the spotlight for a sideshow like a Jake Paul fight is something else entirely. It raises real questions about his focus and whether he's drifting away from the serious, competitive edge that built his reputation, and for Roach, that's nothing but good news. It gives him every reason to believe his chances in the rematch are stronger than ever.
Hardest puncher I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Okendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He him.
Roach, meanwhile, has kept a low profile, staying quiet while the noise surrounds Davis. It's a smart strategy, showing he understands that boxing isn't just physical, it's mental too. He's already shown he can go toe-to-toe with Tank, take his hardest shots, and keep pressing forward. That kind of grit can wear an opponent down mentally. And if Davis is already starting to question himself, Roach is in a perfect spot to take full advantage.
In that fight, a lot of people are saying maybe he's just mentally not there. What did you see?
Nah, he was the same Tank. I don't believe that. I don't got no thought in my brain that makes me think that he wasn't the person he been all of these other fights. I think he was the same person. All this stuff that he going through stuff. I mean, everybody go through stuff. So he's the same fighter. He's going to be the same fighter throughout his career. So.
Even Ryan Garcia, who's been in the ring with Tank and came up short, has shared his thoughts, though his support comes with some caution. I got Tank, Garcia told EZ. I think he'll come in with a different mindset. I think he underestimated Roach the first time and expected him to fold, but he didn't. Now, he knows it'll be a tougher fight, and I think he'll take the rematch. It's a solid vote of confidence, but one that still leaves room for doubt.
You're 1 foot out. You're going to get in the ring and you're going to have that moment where you got to step it up and it just won't come. But I think that's why.
Garcia basically admitted that Tank took Roach too lightly the first time, a costly mistake that nearly put a dent in his undefeated record. And it's worth noting that Garcia himself is still bouncing back from a tough loss, a knockout by Rolly Romero, another fighter Davis stopped. So when your biggest public supporter is someone still recovering from his own defeat, it's not exactly the strongest endorsement. Then there's Romero. Despite being knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their fight, even his backing Tank in the rematch. I'd pick Tank, Romero said in a recent interview. I think he'll make the right adjustments.
It sounded funny. We was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th. We was talking, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win. I said, why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I said, oh, is that right? So, that's how boxing works.
Tank supporters often repeat the same idea, that he can make the necessary adjustments to avoid another close call. But that thinking assumes his issues are purely tactical, that a few changes in training will solve everything. It overlooks the mental side of the sport, the doubt that can creep in when a fighter realizes he's not as unbeatable as he once believed. For Davis, this rematch isn't just about settling the score, it's about proving he's still the most dangerous fighter in the lightweight division, that his power and aggression can overcome any challenge. But with his own camp hinting at fears of losing, and his promoter openly discussing other, less risky matchups, it's hard to ignore the possibility that the Tank myth might be starting to crack.
It sounded funny. We was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th. We was talking, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win. I said, why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I said, oh, is that right? So, that's how boxing works. It's sad to say, that's how boxing works. I'm not like totally upset. I figured what it.
The truth is, Lamont Roach has a real chance to shock the world again in this rematch, and some of boxing's biggest names are already backing him. When the reigning WBC World Lightweight Champion was asked who he thinks will win, he didn't hesitate. I like Lamont in the rematch, he told KO Artist Sports. This isn't just a casual opinion. Sparring sessions are where fighters truly reveal themselves, and those private training moments can expose weaknesses that never show up during an actual fight. If a champion sees something special in Roach, that should definitely make Davis take notice.
I had something on the table. So people who think I'm taking this fight for money, that wasn't the thing. Because I actually had an offer that was higher than the Tank fight.
Oh, for real?
Yes. To defend my belt. So, for all the people who think I was, he doing it for a check. That's what I'm saying. I just even wanted to shut people up.
Yeah. I mean, that's doing it for a check. We ain't doing it just for the check.
We ain't doing it just for the check. But trust me, because don't forget, this is business.
It's prize fighting. Yeah.
It's prize fighting for a reason.
Absolutely.
It's not just current champions who are backing Roach. Roy Jones Jr., one of the smartest and most versatile fighters ever, also sees the possibility of an upset that I think he shocks the world again. Jones told pro boxing fans, Jones is a master of adjustments. After all, he was a 4-weight champion who constantly reinvented his style throughout his career. When he says Roach has a shot, it's worth paying attention. Still, even Jones didn't fully commit, adding, but the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, a different personality, a different motivation. That's a loaded statement, hinting that Davis's biggest challenge might not be Roach, but his own mindset. A fighter who needs a motivational reset before a big rematch is already halfway to defeat.
He's not there to play around. He's trying to smoke. That's what life's supposed to be about. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to win the fight. I don't know that. But Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You got to understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from. Roach is a very formidable opponent. So I'm not going to talk about none of that till we get by Roach. Because what I'm telling you about the other